Hello, my name is Zizaran, and I wanted to make a shorter TLDR video about my thoughts on Legion. Go over it a little bit in a smaller scale, and yeah, like I said, TLDR it because I did make a in-depth video or something when I went over it live on stream, but I've had some more time to think, and I want to make a nicer video about it. So, for those of you who don't know, Path of Exile Legion, and a lot of people are throwing out the word, ooh, the next Breach League, whereas I feel that's very wrong. I don't feel like this is many similarities with Breach at all. And if you see here, you can see that the way it works is there are two sides fighting each other in these monoliths. And the only real similarity with Breach is that the monsters drop splinters. Um, and I'm fairly excited about the league. I actually think it has a huge amount of potential, but from the information we've seen from media outlets and from GGG themselves, there are a lot of concerns I have about the core mechanic being the actual monolith. A lot of the other stuff looks like amazing. Like I'm hyper pog excited about that, and it looks really good. However, this I'm very worried about, and there's a couple of reasons for that. And I sort of want to detail that in the video, but I do want to express that I am very excited about it, and I'm not thinking I'm gonna hate this thing. It's just concern, and I want to make sure we speak up about that before something is locked in or set in stone. For while Synthesis was one of my favorite leagues personally, at least after the changes, on a grand scheme of things, it was a bit of a failure because so many people didn't enjoy the league, and I don't want that to happen again. So I feel it's important that the people who do care speak up as much as possible. Now, there are some people that said, well, Zizaran, but you're obviously gonna not like the league mechanic because you're a racer and you skip it for the first 2 or 3 weeks anyway. And that's not really the point, because I do, every single league, go very in-depth with the league mechanic. It's just I usually skip it for the race part. And I never care about that, because I don't want the the league mechanic to be something necessarily suited for the races, right? That's just a very small part of the league for me. Because there's 2 weeks where I'm doing the races and most likely skipping the mechanic. And then there are 10 weeks where I am grinding the game mechanic, and I want that to be fun. So it's completely fine that it's not suited for racing. Again, so many wrong things with people saying this is similar to Breach League. The only similarity they have is that they drop splinters. So the way it works is you click the monolith, and you can see here in a video by PC Invasion PC Gaming that you click, and then there's a bunch of monsters that are here, and then you have to go around unlocking them by dealing damage to them. So every time you can see that he's unlocking them one by one, and this is taking quite a while. Now, some of the concern I have for this is obviously builds like this look very, just looks horrible in my opinion. Does not look like a nice feeling. And then you can see that it takes 17 seconds between him opening this and that he actually gets to fight monsters. And this is the large difference between Breach and this mechanic, and why I don't feel they're similar at all. The only similarity is yeah, they have monsters and they have splinters, but that's Ambush has monsters, Essence has monsters, Incursion has monsters. So it's the similarity that they both have monsters? Because I don't feel that's fair at all. Hopefully some of the later mechanics will be similar to Breach, and the fact that there's multiple tiers of RNG. You have maybe the Templar one will be the same as Chayula, for example. That's a cool thing that could be similar. But the core mechanic itself is very, very different. And I have a great concern about this 17-second window where, if you're a trash build, I would say this one isn't particularly good or efficient at this use. He's running around for the entire 17 seconds, and he doesn't even get to unlock all the monsters. This seemed like a fairly small one compared to some of the bigger ones in the videos here. And if it's this big, this build here that we were featuring by PC Invasion is not going to unlock even half of this in 17 seconds. And people playing, there's obviously going to be a meta. People will end up playing things like maybe Cyclone will be really good at it. Ellie Hit, we don't know yet, right? But those builds might unlock everything in 3 seconds. Now, what I would be hoping for that, okay, the player has unlocked everything, let them go, or that there will be a release button to release everything, right? So these are some of the hopes I have for the mechanic, and that then I don't have a problem with it, and I think that's important. Then I'm just like all aboard the hype train. This looks great, but 17 seconds of this, or 17 seconds of, if you're on a good build and you activate everything, then you have to wait around for 14 seconds. That AFK period doesn't sound nice. Now, there are a few bad things about Breach. Like sometimes you open up a breach and there are no monsters there. But then you realize that fairly quickly and you move on. Sometimes you do like a circle and come back to it when it's already expanded and clear a bunch of monsters. So there's a lot of good things, but this is not something we have the option for here, right? That's like my main concern about the league. Other than that, it looks great. There's so many really cool things. Chris Wilson later goes on to talk about how we can like combine stones and we get, let's see if I can find a picture here, because we get an upgraded map device. Which looks really, really cool. I'm very excited. Here, we get an upgraded map device so we can put multiple sides against each other and, make like a mega encounter. And that looks great. This is like really cool, very innovative. Innovative? I don't know. There's a word for that. But very excited about this. Also 3 mana fast and 2 bad life fast. This is interesting. Very, very cool, obviously. So it does have a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to. Splinters are on up to 50, so maybe this is something we're going to be doing regularly. And from what they've talked about, it's a very polished league that they worked hard on. But regardless of how you feel about the core mechanic, I think that this is going to be a very make or break for the league, because regardless if the later stuff is fun, if the core mechanic, aka the monolith, is horrible, that's going to kill the league for a lot of people. So what I'm hoping for is that they're just going to nail it, right? Like we're going to, like, the monolith's going to be great. We're going to see it and be like, that's my buddy, the monolith, because we're going to enjoy it. Like either it's fun to do or it's really, really rewarding. And that's my main hope for this and concern. So I've been very vocal about this, and I feel like it's sort of turned into a lot of people thinking I hate the league. I don't. Again, just super, super concerned about the monolith and how important it is for the monolith to be fun. That's like the main concern. And it looks great. Like a lot of this looks cool. They're new cool skills. And there are so many amazing things. There's going to be, like, regardless of the league being good, even if the league is awful, they're doing so many cool things for the core game. There's loads of melee changes. For those of you who only known me for like a little under 2 years, this might come as a shock to you, but I used to be one of the melee dudes. I would only play melee. It was a big change for my stream when I finally started playing spellcasters. There was one league I did something like 7 or 8 Cyclone characters, and I used to play back-to-back Reeve characters, and Blade Flare was like oh my god, I love this skill. But then obviously over time and competing and stuff, it turned more into spells. So I'm very excited to be able to hopefully play Cyclone again. And this also makes part of what I made the card for. But for those of you who don't know, I made the divination card, the Undisputed, which is a divination card that drops off Chayula and gives a highest flat fizz tier Merciless on a Valax. So it's fairly easy to do either like an alt and hope for the Elder Suffix, which puts it at 220% fizz damage, and then Regal Multimod, or just like Regal Multimod, and you already have a good axe there. And it is fairly common both through divination boxes and from farming Chayula. So finally, the div card is going to be used a lot again, and this is what I was hoping for when I made it, that, melee is going to be good at some point, right? And yeah, there are a lot of like new jewels. These look really cool. I'm not 100% sure how they work yet, but they do change the actual nodes and notables and stuff, and keystones as well. So like, this is super exciting. I don't know how they've managed to balance this. Like, as much as I'm very critical of a lot of things of Path of Exile, but it is a balancing nightmare. I 100% couldn't do a better job. And this is like mental how much balancing work must go into this, because this reworks every part of the skill tree that is within a large radius of a jewel. Or I'm guessing the others are large too. Maybe there's some more powerful ones that are small, but that's insane. That is some 400 IQ big brain plays here. And then yeah, the melee respec and or revamp, very excited about. And in a interview with Jonathan on Bay Class, they were talking about how every NPC in the game now has like they actually have swing animations where, you know, that's where they're actually hitting. And there's huge reworks for the core game that I'm very excited about. So even if the league, let's say that Chris was like, guys, we just simply haven't had enough time, we're resetting the economy, but we focus on all this other stuff, I'd be like, you know what, the core game is so good that I'm excited for 3.7 no matter what. And then obviously I'm very concerned for the monolith, and that's something I hope gets addressed. So some solutions to that would be, you know, obviously a release button, and then you can have, you know, if you're a weaker build and you don't want to fight all of them, then you can unlock them over those 17 seconds. And if you are a powerful build, you can release them all and potentially get one slap, because they most likely are going to be hopefully rippy. And then other than that, I don't have much criticism. And I think it is important to not just hype train everything. It's important to be a little skeptical sometimes. I haven't really... I think the last thing that I was very skeptical about was Breach League. And Breach League turned out to be very popular and great. I do want to talk a little bit about our new egg overlords. So for those of you who haven't been watching the Pokemon Go, Path of Exile news, we are going to be able to throw Pokemon Go eggs in our items. And the way this works is that you could put, for example, an ornate incubator into your axe, your chest. It seems like everything, so I'm guessing your rings too. But yeah, like here we have a Namahu Flame, and after you've killed 2,000 monsters while wearing this, it pops out any unique weapon. And I'm guessing there'll be unique belt too. So we'll probably have 7 slots of unique belt and then open Nemesis maps as it pops. It does sound like a lot of micromanaging. I'm not particularly keen of this. Part of the reason I didn't love Legacy as much was because there was so much micromanagement, and I ended up having like 2 quad tabs, I think, or I was quad tabs even in then? I don't even know. But I remember having multiple tabs just organizing my Legacy stones. And I feel like that's going to be the case here as well. Now, obviously, they are adding a lot of smaller things that require a lot of inventory space, which is, I feel, one way to push people towards buying tabs. A lot of people obviously say that Path of Exile is free to play, where I sort of disagree. I'd say it's more like pay to play. You do end up like needing at least a currency tab and a premium slush tab to have a comfortable experience with the game. So saying it's completely free to play, while it's true, it's also sort of disingenuous if you're trying to convince friends that way. I normally end up saying that you're probably going to end up spending 30 to 50 bucks on Path of Exile, but at least there are games out there where you can spend literal thousands of dollars on the game and you will give an advantage to you, which is obviously not the case in Path of Exile. But part of why they keep, obviously, Synthesis, I ended up buying, I think I have 13 or 14 quad tabs now for Synthesis, because it was really worth, once you understand the crafting part, on keeping the lower bases too, and then doing 1 to 3 gambles, which, you know, over time turn out really well. So that worked out really great for me, and I made quite a bit of money. Obviously, I kept resyncing all my currency and Synthesis back into crafting. But yeah, this is sort of like my TLDR on the new things that are coming and what I'm concerned about. So I would actually, contrary to popular belief, I would say I'm an 8 out of 10 excited for this league. And just concerned. But very excited. So it launches in 15 days, 2 hours from this video, and 54 minutes. My name is Zizaran. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and try to die less than I do.